All right. Hey, 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 we're live. You guys, I'm really excited to take this time with you, and we're going to be quick. We're going to get in and hit the point. I've got my amazing friend, Detra Clark, here with me to really talk about like organic foods. I have heard, I know many of you have heard this whole thing called the Dirty Dozen, and it's basically like 12 foods that you should purchase organic. And I'm going to be like, have an honest moment with you. I've always thought like purchasing organic was just for like the bougie people, like that just for being a little extra, like you're just doing a little too much. And so you're there for, doing organic, or you're saying like things have to be organic. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. I do now. And I function that way now. However, I brought on my girl, Detra Clark, so she could just like break it down to you guys and share a little bit of why. But before we do that, I want you guys to hear a little bit about Detra and her family. So tell us about your family, Detra, and what you do to keep them healthy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nicole. So I have four kids and a sweet, handsome husband, Brian. And I have a gap. So I say we have like two generations. We have like a 17 and 13-year-old, and then we
Mm.
have an 8 and a 4-year-old. And for the last 9 years, we've eaten 100% organically. Now, that by that I mean what we bring into our home. So the groceries that come into our home, we cook 95% of our meals, and then we have like our fun times out a couple times
Right.
a month. But what comes in our home is organic. And probably about 9 years ago, I somehow landed in this online group, and there were a group of moms who were growing their own food and talking about eating organically and talking about shopping at the farmers market. And I
Mhm.
just was watching and listening and taking it in, and just started subbing things out. Like I would exchange this brand. So we took Aunt Jemima out, and I got, organic maple syrup. Or, I just started subbing here and there until
Mhm.
we have gradually built up to being eating all organically. And what I was learning in this group were the reasons why. And it was
Okay.
language I had never heard. And so that's one of the things that we do. And my kids are accustomed to it. The other thing that we do is we eat whole food.
Mm.
So the majority of my grocery bill, if I were to lay out my receipt, it is fruits and veggies. That's the majority of the bill. And then our snacks. So we don't bring in desserts or sweets, and we don't bring in a lot of processed. Those are things that if we're going to have them. So we celebrate birthdays and we celebrate accomplishments and things like that, but we
Right.
go out for them
Okay.
so that it's not normalized that sugar
Hmm.
is something that we have in the house. And I can show you better than I can tell you is
Yeah.
kind of our philosophy. So I want to eat the way that I want my children to eat because they're getting what they're going to do in life from me. And I learned that one from watching this group, but when we had our oldest child, Kayla, I
Hmm.
had no clue. I was always told in pregnancy, this is the time to eat what you want. Just take it all in. And so that's
Hmm.
what I did. I ate every single thing that I wanted, and I felt sluggish and tired. And I never equated that to the food that I was eating. I just thought that's how you feel when you're
Right.
pregnant. Then when I
Right.
had Kayla and she started snacking, I always had a full pantry full of honey buns and orange juice because that's good vitamin C, all the things that we're told to have, frosted
Hmm.
flakes, General Mills, Cheerios, all those things that
Yep.
I grew up on thinking they were just fine. And she had quite the sweet tooth. And moving her over to eating organically the way that my other children have easily done, it took a little bit because most of her early years were filled with boxed, processed, sugary
Right.
foods just because back then I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And so when you know better, you can do better. So part of how we're keeping them healthy. Their immune system is built in their gut. And so we just fuel them with good, healthy foods. And then we supplement with whole food sourced vitamins and superfoods.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, with doing so, what have you noticed? What have you noticed as a difference in your children, in your family? in you, your husband, you know?
Yeah, I wish I actually had. I wish I had the picture up here to show you Brian and I before we started eating this way and working out pretty regularly. There's a marked difference in our external features. I look about 20 years younger now than I did in some of our earlier photos, just because I had a lot of inflammation
Yeah.
in my face. But one of the main things that we've noticed, and the Lord is the source of this, I don't take credit for this, but I do want to partner with him for how our
Mhm.
family is doing. We're very seldom sick. We don't go to the doctor a lot. When we moved here, we did establish with a pediatrician when we moved to Minnesota, just in case we needed one, but we just really haven't. So common colds and things like that, we just really don't we don't struggle with those things, allergies, some of the common irritants that you hear in children. We just haven't had a lot of those issues, and I'm really
Right.
thankful. But a lot of that is the food choices
Yeah,
that we make. And so, yeah.
that's awesome. So when we talk about organic specifically, you know, why is it important to purchase organic foods? Like, I mean, isn't it enough that I have like a blueberry versus an organic blueberry? What is the difference between an organic blueberry and a regular blueberry? Like, why organic?
Hmm. That's a good question. So, the common response that I get when I'm sharing with people our protocol and what we do at home and how we eat, and when I'm walking people through how to navigate the grocery store,
Yeah.
the number one thing I hear is that costs too much. Organic costs too much. However, I think we should flip the narrative on that and
Mm,
really think about, why would you want to pay the lowest amount for something you're going to put in your body?
yeah.
Because you really do get what you pay for. Do
Yeah.
you ask that question when you're out buying shoes or jeans or purses? Are you
Mhm.
going for the cheapest item, or are you going for the thing that has the biggest name brand,
Right.
right? That has the best quality. It's no
Mhm.
different than the food we put in our body. 100 years ago, our food was organic. 100 years ago, our food was organic because of the soil that it was grown in. So my grandmothers both lived to be 100 years old.
Yeah.
I think that that is because of the soil health that they had, and the food that they were putting in their body was
Mm,
quality. And in
yeah,
1980, we started spraying glyphosate on our crops. And it's everywhere. It's in the air, it's in the water we breathe. We can get it from touching a doorknob. But because of that, we've seen staggering rates of sickness and dis-ease in adults and in children. And that is because of glyphosate, which is an oral antibiotic. It's a neurotoxin. When you eat organically, you're getting less of it. We
okay,
can't get rid of it. You're never 100% away from glyphosate, but the amount of glyphosate that is in your fruits and veggies is it's significantly less when you eat organically. When it's
sure.
non-organic, it's at a higher rate.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. I mean, I, that's what we're here for. That's what we came for. We wanted to
Hmm.
know the difference.
Yeah.
And I love what you talked about as far as some of the complications. You mentioned neurotransmitters. Is that, did I say that right?
Neurotoxin.
Neurotoxin. Can you talk
Neurotoxin.
about some neurotoxins? Like, can you give us a little bit of little
Yeah.
juice on
So
that?
essentially, what it means is this toxicity in your body. It's something that your body can't break down. And so what happens is, as you ingest it, it creates inflammation and disease in the body. Most
Gotcha.
all disease has its base in inflammation. And
Gotcha.
so common things that we are treating as common now, like fibromyalgia,
Mm,
arthritis,
mhm.
diabetes,
Okay.
a lot of the allergies. Everybody is talking about, it's the allergies, it's the allergies. It's this time of year. Well, no, it's not. It's what's being sprayed over you from a plane on your crops that is
Right.
creating that response in your body. But we
An
treat
inflammatory
it
response.
as normal. It's just common, but it is not normal. Some of these issues we did not see before
Mm,
1980, and we didn't see them at the rates that we're seeing them at now. And so I think the discussion around glyphosate, specifically in Cancer Alley, which is a whole nother discussion, but that
Yeah.
is from Minnesota, where I'm at, down through to where you are in
Yeah.
Arkansas, the
Mhm.
runoff of the Mississippi, there's a higher rate of glyphosate exposure. And the
Yeah.
discussion is important because I had never heard of glyphosate
Right.
until just last year. I knew to eat organically 9 years ago, but it
Mhm.
was more because of these moms who were talking about how healthy their families were. Now
Mm.
that I know the why behind the real why
Yeah.
behind why I've been eating organically for 9 years, I'm thankful for the exposure to know to do it, but I didn't understand the real risk that families, especially children, are in
Yeah.
when we don't choose our foods carefully. And that's
Mhm.
not to scare people, but
Right.
when we know better, we can do better. When you're
Right.
educated, you can make informed decisions for your health instead of letting people tell you what you should be doing. You have the education then to say, no, I'm going to choose differently because I know differently. So,
Awesome.
organic is not something that we should just like pass off as, oh, that's an option. That should be the only option. And in other countries, you wouldn't find the things that we have in grocery stores here that we pass off as food. Other
Yep.
countries are not having that.
Yep.
Here, we have organic and then we have trash. We
Yeah.
have organic and then we have toxic. We have
Yep.
organic and then we have shouldn't be consumed under the guise of food. And so this discussion matters a lot because I just think it's really a heart check issue. The biggest barrier that people don't choose organic, one is they're not educated about the why, but two, the cost.
Yeah.
And so for me, if I had to cut costs somewhere else to put quality food in my body that was
Yeah.
going to move it forward, I would choose it every single time, and we have.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
not negotiable.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, Detra. And I mean, there it is. There it is, you guys. You have it. So, like, if we're trying to decrease the neurotoxins
Yeah.
ah, in our bodies, which we are, and put the highest thing in the one body that we have. You get one life, you get one body,
Hmm.
and you have the opportunity to steward it well. You have the opportunity to help it thrive, or you have the opportunity to like create disease.
Hmm.
And the choice is yours. So thank you so much, Deetra, for taking the time and sharing with us. I know you got to get to the gym, do your thing. And I just appreciate you today. And so if
You're
you guys
welcome.
have any other questions or just want to kind of get connected with either Deetra or myself, we're happy to do that. We're both on social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. You can find us there. You'll be able to share this link with your friends and family. Those that, you might be like, I don't know, we've been thinking about it, but we're not really sure. We don't understand of why. We got you. We got you.
Yeah.
We're both partnered with an organic, beyond organic superfood company that provides a specific probiotic called a biomedic that
Yeah.
helps reduce glyphosate in your body. It's a third party tested um, pill, superfood, really, that helps reduce glyphosate in your body after
Yeah.
6 weeks of consistent usage. So that's huge. And there's nothing else on the market like that. So if we know that we're getting glyphosate in the air, on the doorknobs, everywhere, that you want to give yourself a fighting chance. And this is one of the ways to do that. So
Hmm.
get with us. We got fancy codes, give you a little discount. I mean, holla.
All, all of that. Yeah. It's
Yes.
so
You guys
good.
have a great day. Thanks, Deetra.
Thanks, Nicole. Bye.
Bye bye.